Hello. The stream is back. I'm back to play more Great Ace Attorney. Let me get everything set up. We'll get the game started around 10. So if you weren't here last night, ooh, we got some follows. If you weren't here last night, last night I was doing a group stream of the first Ace Attorney game with some of my buds, and uh out of nowhere we got raided by some other streamer. I believe he was streaming he was streaming the game. He was at the same part of the game I was, and so they raided us. Guy name was Cosmic Churro. I'll shout him out. He raided me right in the middle of my right in the middle of like one of the most disorganized streams I've ever had. So sorry if you can hear me drinking water for prep time. So now I'm coming back in. Joan Pog. No, Joan is not Pog. Actually, wait, Joan is Pog, but specifically the guy that the PogChamp emote face is based off of, who got canceled for like being awful on Twitter. Like that's Joan Garrideb. That's the kind of Pog she is. Original Pog. Conservative Pog. Uh so anyway, I'm here to play Great Ace Attorney and hopefully impress my new followers from last night from the raid and show them that I do stream on my own. I don't only stream with a chaotic loud group of shouters. Uh I realized that last night. I realized the flaw in the setup of the group Ace Attorney streams is that if new viewers come in and I want to talk to them, no, it's not you, Jack. It's not any one person. It's I just realized what is that? Why is there okay, why was the game launching in front of the game? Okay. I've realized that if we're all doing the group stream and like playing through the game and then somebody okay, no, full screen the game. Okay, there we go. If we're all playing the game and like talking over each other and reading the dialogue and then viewers come in and I try to talk to them, no. God no. Uh if like I can't talk to the chat when there's five other voices like reading the dialogue and making jokes over me, and I'm like, oh, this may be interesting with the. If we ever get raided again during group or Ace Attorney, I may be turning down your guys' audio for a second to like talk to the new viewers. I couldn't even like really identify myself. Like, I don't even know if yesterday's new viewers, I don't even know if they were aware which voice was the streamer. I mean, they probably figured it out because I was like making an effort to talk to. Yeah, game audio is a little loud. I turned it down. I had my computer up at 100. I always have it up at 100 for editing stuff, just so I can like. Because if something's still too quiet that I'm editing at 100, then that means I need to adjust it in my editor. Also, apologies if the stream lags at all. I have all of these research paper tabs open, and I don't want to close them because that will make it harder for me to motivate myself to work on them tomorrow. So, hopefully, so I have more stuff. Usually I try not to have anything open in the background, but yeah. So, if you remember when we left off, we were on case 4 of this game, and I feel like I'm a lot. We were on case 4 of this game, and we were about to interrogate Joan Garrideb, the domestic abusing maid wife of, Mr. Garrideb. I don't remember his first name, but we believe she may have accidentally committed this murder that we're trying to prosecute. Accidentally, I guess. I don't know. Turned out, is it still too loud? Hold on, wait. How's that? Is that better? Or else the new viewers will hate you. I turned down my volume, but I guess hold on. How's that? Okay, cool. I just cranked it down a little bit. there's like so many audio settings to adjust when you're streaming. I really appreciate having an active chatter, because it's on one hand you're adjusting your own computer volume, like what you're hearing, and then on the other hand you're also having to adjust what the stream is hearing. It's a whole thing. Witness? That was not the Von Zeke's voice at all. No. Okay. Fuck. Wait. Okay. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I poured myself some pink lemonade in anticipation for when Von Zeeks does his wine drinking bits. And then I picked up the cup and immediately splashed some of it onto my mouse, so give me 2 seconds. It's okay, it's 10 p.m. That's when I said I was going to start playing the game, so we're good. We got 8 minutes of solid, 10 minutes of solid, I don't know when I start the stream, a few minutes of solid pre-stream setup. Now we're ready to go. Okay, get into character. This guy. Okay, I'm gonna drink some of it, so. Alright. Witness, state your name and occupation. Oh, yes, my name is Garrideb, and I'm a juror, and such like. Sounds like she doesn't even know if she's a housewife or a maid or what anymore. So she was on the jury of this case. I'm explaining it to anybody who didn't watch the last stream or VOD. She's on the jury of this case, but she's also involved in the incident. I don't know how that oversight happened, but... The court has decided your testimony is required in order to clarify matters in this case. Do you understand? Yes, oh god, she's got the teacup on the stand. Oh no, not the tea bit. You will tell the court everything that took place in your household on the evening in question. Hold on, do I turn up my mic a little bit as well, just to make sure the audio's balanced well. And I warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth. I'm trying to I wish I had fat juggly. She's jiggling her cheeks. Oh no. No. Is that why she has the teacup? Oh no. Chin up, Joni. Nothing to worry about now. Why is he on the stand with her? That's why she has the teacup. Are we gonna get more of the pouring tea on him bit? Joan Pog. Oh, I didn't know you were here. His name was John. Okay, they are John and Joan. F off. Oh, God, I need wine. Who let this moon-shaped guy on the stand? Oh, I didn't know you were here, John. Oh, God, what is that face? Wasn't only you in the room that day, old thing, was it? Rather, I think I ought to testify as well, do you? But what about your knee, dear? Don't you worry about that. Hardly notice it. I'm not the sort of chap to leave a comrade to face disciplinary action alone. Oh, John. I presume you are Mr. John Garrideb? The whole Garrideb family's here. Fuck. Yes, sir. Almost second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of the 4th Northumberland Fusiliers, sir. Seen my fair share of action, and now living the quiet life, as it were. I don't remember if this was the voice I gave him 2 streams ago, but I don't know. The quiet life. Were you not engaged in an incendiary battle with your spouse on the day in question? Ah, well, yes. Quite. I believe this may represent a first in the proud history of the British court. Yes or no, sir? I'm trying to, not just do yes or no. Calling a juror to the witness stand is unprecedented. However, the court will hear your testimony now, juror number 4, and that of your husband. You will recount clearly and concisely the events in your home at the time of the incident in question. Sir, at once. The Battle of Garrideb. God damn it. Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. Knocked a candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Soon had it out, though, and got the window open. Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him. There's plenty of knives around our place. Can't say I'd notice if one or two went missing, I'm afraid. Incoming tea pouring bit. Incoming tea pouring. If that batty thing in the victim's back really was one of yours, you'll have a job proving it. It sounds as though it was quite the battlefield in your household that evening. Although an entirely one-sided assault, it seems. He's just resting his, like, smoke pipe on her like, teapot. The enemy caught us on the hop, sir. Had no choice but to dig in and take defensive measures. To be honest, if the enemy had kept shelling us for another minute, we'd have been toast. Of course, I'm gonna make wartime analogies so I can downplay the fact that my wife is abusive. Boomer hate wife joke. Boomer hate. Of course, a veteran such as myself is only too aware that on every battlefield, you're just a gnat's whisker from death at any moment. Are we still talking about a marital quarrel here? Well, I must say I'm dubious that this testimony will shed any light on the origins of this jackass. I feel like I'm giving him a more goofy voice than usual. In combat, one's focus narrows such that surroundings are barely noticed. My focus is being shifted right now, actually. Hold on. Okay, cool. These witnesses may not be able to offer anything more than they have testified already. This may be a dead end. Okay, get the activity log out of my... Sorry. Von Zeeks may well be right. Well, whatever the chances, we only have this last cross-examination to uncover the truth, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, I'm afraid so. Very well, Counsel. Begin your cross-examination. The Battle of Garrideb. Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Okay, we need to press this because there is he absolutely can remember the reason. The reason is what you told us yesterday, I believe. Yes, that's right. If I remember correctly, it all started because of a note that was tucked into the pages of a book belonging to Mr. Garrideb. A rather passionate note, in fact. But Mrs. Garrideb found the note, discovering her husband's little secret. And she gave him a mighty number of slaps across the face for it, too. What a sordid state of affairs. Hell on earth. I say, when a chap says he can't recall such things, it's common decency not to drag it all up. I really do feel bad for this guy. His marital spat is now being, like, dumped onto an entire courtroom. Like, and through no fault of his own. Through no fault of his own. And besides, half of it was wide of the mark anyway. Oh god, she's pouring tea. A likely story. These waters run very deep. And what transpired next after these multiple blows to the face? Knocked a candlestick over and set fire to the cup. Okay. Hold it! We're just gonna go through press everything. I didn't see any obvious contradictions. And the fire also spread to some items of furniture, didn't it? A bookcase, my armchair, anything of mine, really. Just so happens there was some bathwater around that evening, so I sloshed that about to put it out. That's kind of fun. A most precarious situation you put yourself in. Ours is a 3-story townhouse on the west side of the street, where the water main isn't connected. You can draw water from a public water pump during the day if you need any, see? Okay, so that piece of information is going to be important somehow. The lodgers are always moaning that they can't get any water at night. Although, that little mustached Japanese man buys water in bottles, I believe. How very forward. The defendant, Mr. Natsume, you mean? Yes, he receives a stipend for his studies, from his own country. Can you imagine being able to brew a pot of tea at all hours? He's obviously very well off. He literally rents like a shitty apartment from you. Like, what do you? Have you actually seen the state of the man? I believe he uses all of his income to buy books. Well, anyway, the point is, I was able to douse the fire with water quickly enough. Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him. Whatever you could find, huh? Even though the room was on fire? As far as I was concerned at the time...
Excuse me!
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I did not mean to do that. I have to insist on Lieutenant Garrideb in this setting, I'm afraid. Chain of command and all that. Try again, I'll check. Please don't give me a strike for that. I did not mean to press. It did not look as if you had something to say about that. I just scroll between them sometimes. Oh, I can also scroll between this. Oh right, I have to press this again, because I interrupted. God damn it. Okay. As far as I was concerned at the time, it was more important to extinguish my anger than the flames. But when a woman wants to throw, she must throw. I like to just scroll between them sometimes, but I forget that space is pursue, so I was like pressing space to move through the text. That is most certainly not true of a Susato takedown, Mr. Nara. A Susato takedown is not domestic abuse. I need to clarify. How did she know I was thinking? So, please cast your mind back and try to remember. Was a knife among the items that you threw at your husband that day? In all honesty, I don't recall. But I feel I must point out that I'm no monster. Let me see. Some bread, a cabbage, a garlic. Ah, and this is where we hit that space button. Okay. Do you have something to add, sir? Mr. Garrideb! Don't shoot! Sorry, I beg your pardon? Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind? Nothing of any significance, no. Just that the barrage of projectiles the old thing launched in my direction was somewhat more solid than she implies. Books, bricks, and the fire program, I seem to recall. And the woman's aim is uncanny. Oh god, there it is. Good grief, woman! We're not at home now. This is a court of law. You can't... She was pouring it into his smoke pipe. She can't even... She can't pretend that was an accident. Oh my god. Oh, dearie me. I'm ever so sorry, dear. What is she even doing with a teapot in here? That's what I'm saying! The second she was holding the teapot on the stand, I'm like, oh no. Oh, not this bit again. Honestly, John, I would have never thrown such things at you, obviously. Well, take a look at this then. How do you suppose this happened? Your pipe, sir? I had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. You showed up on time. Congrats, Casey. You missed last Great Ace Attorney stream or just last night's stream? Because last night you missed one of the most chaotic streams I've ever done. It took us, we were playing Ace Attorney as a group, and it took 30 minutes to start the game, and then another 10 for Alyssa to stop laughing, and then we just fumbled around for 2 hours. It was great. God, not these two. Why are they still here? Because I've been putting off streaming this specific game for 2 weeks because I don't want to have to interrogate them. I have to interrogate them to deal with this case. It sucks. She's got the teapot too. She just poured tea into his crack pipe and like, God, not do tea now with one of a soft projectile. She did, yes. At least if she goes to jail, he gets to be like, have some peace. Show his base. Shut up. Well, when I went to pick the thing up, it was broken in two. Would love to see a sponge do that sort of damage. Every time it just... We got raided at the end, too. Another streamer raided us. And so I just got a bunch of extra viewers. And I did not know how to greet them because things were in chaos. If any of those viewers are watching right now, I hope you're enjoying the stream. It's not obviously not quite as chaotic as yesterday's, but that's probably a good thing. It would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Anyway, I've managed to bandage the thing up for now. Oh, you are one to exaggerate, aren't you, dear? I wonder what we should make of this camera. Okay, wait. Let me review it, because I got distracted talking to the chat. I went to pick the thing up, it was broken in two. So, his pipe got knocked out of his hand by the fire poker. Or by something hard that she threw. And it was broken in two. Huh. Okay, that is definitely important. It could be important. The defense believes Mr. Garrideb's remarks just now to be of great significance.
Objection!
This war veteran's words only tell us one thing. Betray a fiery wife, and pipes as well as hearts. Sentimental wisdom, perhaps, but hardly worthy of adding to the formal testimony. This is why I've decided that I'm not going to be horny anymore. It only brings destruction. In that case, would you at least permit us to examine the pipe, sir? Well, I don't see why not. Oh, dearie me. There you go again, trying to ingratiate yourself with a young lady. Oh, boy. Very well, the court will accept the gentleman's pipe as evidence. Pipe has been added. Okay, let's... I hope I didn't speak out of turn, Mr. Naruhodo. I was just feeling rather disappointed for you that your request was turned down. Oh, no. That's fine. Thanks to Susato-san, we have some new evidence to work with. We should examine it carefully. Well, thank you for that, rebuttal, Mr. Garrideb. Now, if we can return to the crux of the matter, what can you tell the court about the knife used to attack the victim? Okay, real quick, let's examine the pipe, the new piece of evidence. I like this color of blue. It's a nice pipe. There's a small nick out of the bowl here. Look. It appears to have been made relatively recently. And see how there are little scrapes and dents all over it? It's clearly a well-loved pipe. Yeah, you're right. It seems to me recently that being well-loved goes hand in hand with getting some battle. This particular nick is catching my eye. It's clearly new. Okay, is that all? Is that all we're gonna get? What is this? What is in here? There's something in the pipe. Oh, something just twinkled inside the chamber of the pipe. Yes, I saw it. Something stuck in here, I think. Let's turn it over and give it a shake. What's this? It's a tiny fragment of metal. Oh, the tip of a blade? Oh, no. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. The knife is missing the edge of its blade, isn't it? Yeah, oh god, oh god. That's the murder weapon. Oh, look. Just at the tip, a small piece appears to be missing. Wait, part of it's missing? I could be wrong. I've got a feeling! That's the tiny fragment of metal that we found inside Mr. Garrideb's pipe. Yes, just maybe. Oh my, it's a perfect fit. I've got you proof right here.
Objection!
Mr. Garrideb, could I ask you to take a good look at this, please? You can ask, but I can't see a bloody thing. You can't? They used to call me Dead-Eye Deb, back in the regiment, of course. But that was some time ago. Even when Isn't he only, like, 40? Like, wasn't he, like, weirdly young? Hold on. He's only 46. Like, acting like he's just, like, aged, like, I can't even see anything anymore, I'm old. He's 46. She's 38. My dad is older than John Garrideb. Like, even when I'm trying to enjoy a large print book by the fire these days, I struggle to tell a B from a D and a P from a Q, to be honest. Oh, he does. Dearie me, it's rather wearing being asked about every other letter and every other word. You must D very dussy. Dussy? It's whatever. Doesy. I don't know. What is that? A tiny scrap of metal. Yes, almost certainly from the tip of a blade. And what may appear at first to just be a tiny scrap is in fact a crucial piece of evidence. See, I thought we were just going to look at the pipe and see, like, oh, it's marked a certain way. Oh, well, I didn't think there was literally going to be a piece of a knife inside the pipe. The dussy has been located. What the fuck is a dussy? Interesting. And where did the defense come by this evidence? It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Garrideb's pipe. My pipe, you say? By Jove, I wonder how that got in there. And what precisely does this fragment of metal signify, Count? Are you suggesting that it is in some way related to the matter of the stabbing on Briar Road? Saying it's a dussy. In fact, what is the meaning of this dussy? I am. What? When put together with another piece of evidence already in the court record, I believe this tiny fragment of metal will unravel the whole truth of this case, my lord. The true dussy. The true knifussy. Stop now. You appear rather confident in that extraordinary statement, counsel. Well, present the pertinent evidence to the court. What evidence, when paired with this dussy, allegedly reveals the truth of this entire case?
Take that!
This is the knife that was found in the victim's back. If you look closely, you will see that there is a small piece at the tip of the blade that is missing. A common issue with the inferior blades sold at unsavory street markets. Criminals who use them regularly leave the tips lodged in their victims' bones. And what of this particular knife? No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate, now languishing somewhere near the spine of the victim.
Objection!
Objection. No, that's not the case. Joan definitely means Soldier 76 in Overwatch, because it reminds her of her. She's like, oh, it's just like my John. The tip of this particular knife's blade is the very fragment of the metal we discovered in the chamber of Mr. Garrideb's pipe. Ah! Ah! Good grief, Lord Von Zeeks. I don't believe it. The knife from the crime scene and this fragment of metal are a perfect match! Good golly gosh! Stop it, Jehoshaphat! I almost shit myself in excitement! Order! Is this some sort of Eastern sorcery? This is no magic, my lord. This is a miracle. A miracle? So Van Zeeks has figured it out, hasn't he? Counsel? Explain this extraordinary coincidence at once! Yes, my lord. The crucial point we have to ask ourselves here is when did the fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Garrideb's pipe? Something that was clarified for us in the most recent witness testimony. Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles she did. Yes. Would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. The knife! Look at her jiggling! Whoa. Chungus! During the argument between these two that occurred just as the victim was on the pavement below, Mrs. Garrideb flung this knife at her husband. However, the knife missed Mr. Garrideb, instead striking the pipe in his hand at the time, which caused the tip to break off. Good lord! Yes, and that is when the tiny tip of the blade found its way inside Mr. Garrideb's pipe. The chances of that are 1,000,000 to 1! And yet, I didn't read it. Hold on. Look at the history. And yet, there's no other credible explanation for how the tip of the blade ended up in your pipe. Then, after losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out of the open window. In short, this knife, which fell from the window of the Garrideb's house, is the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back on the street below. The big Chungus yell definitely made me lose a viewer, by the way. Oh gosh! Oh dear! Oh! Ah! No! She's standing on a box.
Objection!
Objection! A full-bodied theory. I'll give you that. A complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points, plausibly arranged to create an almost passable vintage. Allow me to toast my learned friend's characteristically Nipponese approach to bottling his argument. Sorry? But after all, it is just a theory. A game theory. The bottle, I fear, is corked. But because you see... Oh god, foot on table, hold on. It's spoilt by an insurmountable inconsistency. An insurmountable... Huh? Good God, cheeks, explain yourself. What is this inconsistency you claim to have identified? An inconsistency of the simplest nature, my lord. Don't make my chair fall. The victim was found with the knife planted in the middle of her back. Yes, in her... Ugh! Oh my god, she just slapped him in the courtroom. That's right! You silly little man! the mark just like instantly disappeared. Now, Joan, old thing, what are you getting so excited? Let us consider the basic facts of the case once more. The victim was walking along the pavement before being stabbed in the back and falling to the ground. If the knife that struck her had fallen from above... There's no possible way it could have planted itself into the victim's back. Water in my chair now. Order! Order! Yeah, no, he just chucked it. He didn't even apologize that time. Quite right. You see, that's exactly right. If the knife had fallen on her from above, it would have struck her on the top of her head. Just like I just struck my husband in the courtroom. Oh, lost for words. I knew he was fine never lost his theory in the first place. The empty church. Oh, I don't know, though. What really did happen? Ooh, it would appear the defense has made rather a spectacular blunder. If a theory has even one inconsistency, it cannot stand. Your theory, my learned, is history. When the imposter is sus. We were so close. I could see the truth. I was so sure we were on the right track. But now the way has been blocked completely by just one simple inconsistency. Or in other words, we simply need to eliminate that one inconsistency, and then the theory will stand. Miss Susato, you mustn't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. You were just caught off guard, that's all. Your mind went blank. But if the path you were on is indeed correct, then a way will present itself. The key to this is in the court record, I'm sure. All the information you need is there. It seems you have nothing to say, my friend. Well, your silence speaks volumes. A tacit acceptance that your theory is fatally wrong. What?
Objection!
I just noticed the burn mark of John Garrideb's robe right at his ass. You can't see it unless it's in a big, like, room shot, but... This inconsistency doesn't mean I was on the wrong track. It means that I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth. It's a test. Yes, I am. If the knife fell on the victim from above, there's no way that it could have hit her in the middle of the back. Under normal circumstances, that is. That was always an inconsistency, though. The, like, knife bouncing down and hitting her. Like, regardless of the piece of it being in the pipe, what are you implying? Counsel? There is a piece of evidence in the court record that can explain... There is? There is? Goodness! Utter madness! Surely this must be the last time. Counsel, present the evidence of which you speak. Final piece of the puzzle. If I can successfully make sense of this, the truth will be laid bare at last. The evidence that explains how the falling knife became lodged in the victim's back is... Let's go. Check on the evidence. Right on couch, stab in the back. Probably single stab him. Still seen running away. I feel like she had to have fallen over before the knife came down. I don't know when. I don't know why that would have happened, but... This isn't a Patricia beat from her husband, Rolly. I miss Pat and Rolly. Those were funny bit characters. Okay, this is not relevant anymore. I have absolutely no idea. Okay, let me examine this little bandage mark here, because I never did. Looks to be in a sorry state with that bandage around it, doesn't it? But for some reason it feels slightly ominous to me. Like it's trying to shout out a warning. Probably because it's the same deep blue as Mr. Garrideb is dressing you. I suppose it must have considerable sentimental value to Mr. Garrideb, given that he's gone to the trouble of repairing it like this. Either that, or he can't afford to replace it. Stop! Good God! What are you... What's the joke? Okay, I'll wait for the punchline. It's got the cheese touch. God damn it. This is the tiny piece of metal. You just... I'm not... Good God, man! You almost got the cheese touch! This is the tiny piece of metal we found in the chamber of Mr. Garrideb's pipe. And what a stroke of luck that it's the perfect fit with the broken tip of the jackknife. It's extraordinary, isn't it? Surely proof that miracles really can... Okay, well... Okay, that's not helpful. Here. Evidence that explains how the falling knife became lodged in the victim's back is... Sorry, there's a bit of a lull here. Dead air! I'm thinking. How did this... So... Why is the back button not working? Do I have to close it? I didn't... Okay. evidence that explains the falling knife. Okay, so let's look at the map. So she throws it at him. Room is on fire. Knife bounces off of open window, goes down. I feel like I need some evidence that she fell over beforehand or something, but I don't know where I would even find that. Lion's Pride. Okay, wait. This was in Miss Beatty's hand when she. Oh wait, or this was in the victim's hand when Mrs. Beat first ran over to see what had happened. So the burned book is in her hand. So maybe it's that she was like looking at the book first, or she got knocked over by the book. I'm gonna try the book.
Take that!
I'm very unconfident. The fourth book found at the scene. This is the final piece of evidence the defense will present. With this pickup, okay, the music pickup, we got him. The burnt book. Is that not Mr. Garrideb's book? Yes, it is. And to understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. This photographic print clearly shows the book in question, and the victim holding it in her hand. But as we all now know, it was the police constable that put the book between her fingers like that. Quite so, as part of his wholesale transplanting of the crime scene to the opposite side of the road. That's true. However, as part of his testimony, Constable Beat made an extremely enlightening statement on that point. A statement I don't remember, and that's probably why I didn't quite piece this together on my own. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? Oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it. When we first ran over to the scene. The victim was already holding the... See, that's what I thought. Yeah, he perfectly recreated the crime scene just on the other side of the street. Which I'm sure he didn't think would matter, but it did. In other words... What is this song? In other words, the victim had already picked the book up of her own volition. And clearly, that must have been before she suffered the knife. Well, I should say so. After being attacked with a knife, I don't imagine she'd have been doing much of anything. So the question becomes, why did the victim have that book in her hand? By jingo! I think I'm beginning to see what may have happened now. Oh, dearie me. We know that the book fell from the top floor of the Garrideb household onto the pavement below, at precisely the moment that the victim was walking past. Yes, at exactly that moment. The young woman was walking along the street in the light fog, when all of a sudden, a book fell right in front of her. The book I threw? Yes, Mrs. Garrideb. And what do you think the woman did? What would you do if you were walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you on the pavement? Okay, she bent over to pick it up. Got it. Well, I really can't imagine it, but I suppose this is a certified big Chungus moment. I plead the fifth. She might have reached out and picked the book up. Big Chungus. Yes, that is exactly what the woman in fact did. She picked up the book. Oh, heavens! And when the woman reached down to pick the fallen book up, what position would her back have been in? That's right. Facing the sky, completely and utterly defenseless. Anal! Why did I read that? Then in the very next moment, while the woman was still bent over picking up the book, the next object fell from the room above. The jackknife. Straight into the middle of her back. And at that same time, I'm not reading it again. Walking by chance directly behind Miss Green, I don't care, was the defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Well, I never! It appeared to Mr. Natsume that the woman simply collapsed on the floor. In the dark and the fog, he didn't see the knife falling on her from above. Ah! And from the other direction, the constable and his wife saw no one but the victim and her apparent attacker. He's quickly realizing that this is actually what happened, and it's so stupid. So there never was a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place. No, this was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that culminated in an unfortunate accident. And that is the real truth behind this case. I love when they do the and it's just everyone looking in shock. Those moments are always so good. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb? The very first time you showed me that knife, I had my suspicions. I wondered if perhaps it might have been something like that. There, old bean. Poor Mrs. Garrideb. I don't know about that. I think she really only has herself to blame for this. Of course, I never meant for anything of the sort to happen, but it was all my fault, wasn't it? Poor Acro. Oh my, this does have Acro energy. This feels like the same thing. Like the girl in the second case of this game, I actually felt bad for, but like this, I don't feel bad for Joan Garrideb, and I didn't really feel bad for Acro either. Right? I told you I have a name. I don't get it. What's the? I take full responsibility. I let my anger get the better of me. I threw that book. And the knife as well. John, dear. It's all right. I know. I'm ever so sorry. I'm glad she only poured the coffee into his pipe once. Oh god, freak out moment. I'm sorry! Big Chungus! Oh no. Big Chungus moment. Certified Big Chungus moment. See, there's like a what is ass. Haha, I made you say anal. Okay. Anal, she just got anally Big Chungus. Beast! Lord Von Zeeks, what news of Mrs. Garrett? She's been taken to the infirmary. It would appear that today's events had left her in an especially flustered state. However, I believe she will recover in due course. There is no cause for concern. Yes, unbeknownst to themselves, they caused what could easily have been a terrible tragedy. They shall have to prepare themselves for the consequences of their actions. Okay, wait, did John Garrideb really do anything? I don't like the they here. I think this is entirely Joan's fault. There is some good news, however, my lord. I have just had word from the hospital where the victim is being treated. We jumped forward like 20 minutes in time for this scene. Her condition is... Oh wait, the victim, not Joan. I have 0 brain cells. Her condition is improving steadily, and the doctor believes she will regain consciousness soon. And then once she regains consciousness, she can, like, reaffirm our theory. Like, because she'll be like, yeah, I bent over to pick up a book, and then... It's strange, we've been talking about the victim all this time, but we've never once met her. How wonderful! The woman is out of danger, it seems. Yes, that is good news. So, Mr. Soseki Natsumi? His animations. Yes. On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study our great British culture, and have been repaid with immeasurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies. No, it is me who should be begging your pardon. I forget the voice I give this guy every time. Oh no, Mr. Natsume. That evening, when the young woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes, I I jumped to the wrong conclusion again in my confusion. What conclusion, sir? I was sure that the woman was dead. Yes, Constable Beat said the same thing, didn't he? He thought she'd been killed too. I suppose she must have looked away. Yeah, both Soseki Natsumi and Roly Beat made something that could have been made something that could have been way easier to solve a lot harder through their sus actions. There was a lot of sussy behavior from the crewmates going on in this trial. Among Us reference. That one's going in the Among Us video. It's been about a year since I arrived in Great Susato. It's been about a year since I arrived in Great Britain now, but I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. I'm sure there are evil spirits lurking in the fog, like they're haunting me. Poor Soseki-san. His imagination really has got the better of him. Yes, poor man. So when it happened, I thought the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. I should never have dropped my books like that and ran away. I should have called for help! For a doctor! For the police! Instead, I've managed to create a rift in the relationship of trust between our two empires. And for that, I'm truly sorry. I just noticed John Garrideb is now sitting in Joan Garrideb's jury chair. One could indeed say that some sort of mischievous spirit has been at work here, one that created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. We were befooled by this spirit and led to false conclusions. But thanks to Lord Van Zeeks and our young lawyer here from the east, that chain has now been broken, and the spirit exorcised. I heartily commend you both. Oh, I'm curious what Von Zeeks thinks about all this. Why did Von Zeeks even take this case? Like, that's what I want to know. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Yes, my lord. In concluding this trial, I must ask one last time for your decisions regarding the defendant's culpability. Are you ready to present your findings to the court? As the foreman of this jury, I can assure you we've reached a fair and just conclusion. I do declare the truth can be extremely I don't know, what the hell am I doing? Cruel at times. No. Why did that? Who's in love with me? You said he is in love with you. Who's in love? Cool. Tauntaun. Who's in love with me? Sorry. Moving on. I didn't suspect the woman next to me, that's for sure. Sitting in for that old bean while she's out of action, you know? But I know what her decision would be. Van Zeeks is in love with me, okay. Does this mean I'll finally be able to get out of here and start work? Well, it's about time. I say, you'll have a corker of a story to tell the grandchildren when I get home, won't I? Very well. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby demand your final decisions. Mr. Foreman.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
I like hearing
Not guilty.
Not
Not
guilty.
guilty.
Not guilty.
That is not the the voice for the old man does not fit at all. But I like hearing them say guilty and not guilty just to get like voice samples for these random NPCs in this game. Like just to hear what they sound like, you know? Very well, Mr. Soseki Natsume. I hereby pronounce you not guilty. Okay, every case in this game so far, except the first one, has had some weird element of unsatisfaction to the ending. Case 2, it was an accident. Case 4, it was an accident. Case 3, we have no idea what really happened. Case 1 is the only one with a clean cut, this person is a killer, and we convicted them as such. But even she got off free somehow. So like Ryunosuke hasn't really taken any like solid criminals down, which is interesting. And finally, Mr. Natsume. Oh, yes, Lord Sir? You are now a free man once more. It is my hope that you will continue to further your education in British culture, and may you never again be brought before me. Oh, yes, sir, of course, sir. On my life. I swear I'll never set foot in a courtroom again! I'm transported to tears! Thank you, Countess. Court is adjourned. I definitely thought the questioning the Garrideb segment would be a lot longer than it was. I definitely stopped at like the tail end of the trial last time I streamed. But also, I was already like 3 hours in at that point. This is just the opposite of like each of the cases I've done before this has had like I've done like a 2-hour stream or a couple 2-hour streams, and then I've done like a big long one for the end of the case. This one's the opposite. I did 2 big long streams before this, and then this is going to be a shorter one wrapping up the case. Oh, Locum! Wait, you mean me? I mean, we're still going to go for like an hour or so it's really not that. It's not that short. Of course. Is there another Locum here? Is there even one? Compared to the original Locum student, Mr. Naruhito Esquire, your name has become rather short. What's wrong with using my actual name? Oh, at last, I'm free. It's not her. Oh, at last, I'm free. Joyful, joyous, jubilant, jubilation. Heady, hearty, happiness, hurrah! I want to see if he could do one of these for every letter. Oh, I am pleased. Mr. Natsume is delighted. Would it be so hard to just say that then? Locum, you did it! You saved me from the brink! I love his animations so much. They're so dumb. Like, why does he do that? Well, what happened to the poor woman was in no way your fault after all. I'm just glad everyone could see that. No, not that! Lovely, loyal, Locum, lawyer! Yes? I mean, as I said before, I have just never got used to life here in Great Britain. Every time I look over my shoulder, I see foreigners. I see towering black buildings. And from high up windows, I see them looking down on me, laughing. Look at that little hunchback. Oh, dear. I'm sure it's all in your head, Mr. Natsume. But today, you, Locum lawyer, gave my gloom the boot. You stood firm behind that baronial bench. Before all those babbling British, you battled to the bitter end, laying bare the baffling truth. And when I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of the Bailey's roof, I bellowed, "Behold, the best barrister ever born!" This could have been such a nothing character, but his gimmick is so funny. I don't know. Well, that's very flattering, and we're very pleased for you. This has given me a wonderful anecdote to recount to my old friends back in Japan. An anecdote? Is that what's to become of all my hard work? Ah, there you are. I knew it was gonna be. I apologize for keeping you waiting. I rose late. I slept in and missed the trial. Based. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, what a pleasure to see you. I see I am here not a moment too soon. A disaster has been averted, I'm glad to say. Oh. The trial shall begin presently. Oh my god, he thinks the trial is starting. The trial shall begin presently, Mr. Naruhito. And I wish you the very best of luck. It's just finished, actually. What? No! Then my haste was in vain? I could have slept in another half hour? Ah! It's you! Herlock Sholmes! Oh, have we met, sir? He doesn't remember him. Oh my god. This is Mr. Natsume? The man you had arrested, Mr. Schultz? Ah, I see. I failed to recognize you at first. Our previous encounters have taken place in the gloom. Either of your bleak lodgings or that prison cell. I simply couldn't place that curious face in the night. Charming. This is all your fault, Herlock Sholmes. You're the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. I'm going to give you a piece of my mind. My apologies, sir, but I assure you I've placed you now. You're the fellow who abandoned that poor young lady and ran off, are you not? Had she been taken to hospital more urgently, I feel perhaps she would have regained consciousness by now. Oh! I guess I should retract my dab then. But it was unavoidable, I'm sure. We are but human, after all. Anyone would have been shaken by such an experience. So I can keep dabbing? I do feel very badly about how I behaved. How did I get, I got, spit, on the lip of my chin when I was, I don't know, shouting, reading one of these lines. I don't know how it, went in an arc. Well, never mind. Now then, what was it that you wanted to say to me, sir? Nothing. Ha 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 ha! Priceless! Oh, I'm sorry, really, but that was quite priceless. Couldn't put a price on that. Poor Soseki-san. Still, on the bright side, you've had an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny. And it would seem you were not even found guilty. But there is no bright side. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Natsume? Even after this, I'm still cursed by the spirits and now by the Reaper! Oh, that's right. The whole Reaper thing. Well, I don't know. Von Zeke seemed pretty aware that this guy was not guilty. I haven't forgotten, what facing that man in court means. Even if you're found not guilty, you're still doomed! It'll all be alright, Mr. Natsume. Huh? If the Reaper appears trying to make trouble, I will protect you. Hiya! Why did I get... With a perfectly executed Susato takedown. I want to see her Susato takedown Baron Von Zeeks. That'd be so funny. Much as I like being turned on my head, a bit of warning might be nice next time, Miss Susato. So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now? You mentioned something about recounting your experiences to your friends back in Japan? Yes, I intend to return to my homeland soon. Oh. It has already been a year since I arrived here in Great Britain. Okay. If we did a group playthrough of this game, Jack, this character is either Will or Luke. I've visited universities, libraries, bookshops. I've been honored with the tutelage of professors. I've learned so much about the wealth of literature there, and the city it has shaped. And I've come to realize that it is my calling to sail home and tell my fellow countrymen about it. That's very touching, Mr. Natsume. Or, in perhaps less veiled terms, you wish to withdraw halfway around the world to escape the terror of the Reaper's curse? That's not it at all! The more I learn of literature, the more the strange feeling claws at my insides. I feel compelled to return to my roots and attempt to pen a work of my own. Oh, I see. A work of literature by Soseki-san. Could be an interesting... I think I googled this guy's name. He's like an actual poet or an author or something. So, that's the... if their name isn't a pun, they're like a literary or historical character. And what about Miss Susato and yourself, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry? What about us? Will you return to Japan alongside your mustached compatriots? Why would we? A week has not yet passed since we arrived in London. That's right, I forgot both of these cases took place in the span of a week. We had a busy week. And only now does it feel as though we have finally found our feet. And you are accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not? That's right. But we need to find lodgings before it bankrupts us. I've calculated we can only afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted. Well then, you could take my lodgings. Oh, the windowless room? Ah, but what it lacks in windows, it more than makes up for with a floor, ceiling, and walls. Great. And of course, I'd be happy to leave behind the accursed evil spirit. Oh my, an evil spirit? Oh yes, it tries to suffocate you while you sleep. It's an infallible wake-up call. We'll think about it, if that's alright. Perhaps I can offer a more welcome alternative. We get to stay at Sholmes' place? Based. Would you consider taking lodgings with me? Really? Well, a vacancy has conveniently presented itself. Though it is up in the attic, I might add. Are you sure it isn't just a storage loft? I spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of price, and Iris is cleaning the room as we speak. Based! You must come at once. I presume you have no luggage to speak of. Oh, this is simply wonderful! What an honor to be invited to taking lodgings in the great detective's office attic. I'm too overcome for words. So suggesting we look elsewhere is out then. Bro, why would we want to live anywhere else? We get to live in the Sherlock Sholmes' attic. We're friends now. He's inviting us in. Then it's settled. Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this evening. Is that a part of this case? Okay, this stream's gonna go on for a little longer then. Based. And you must come too, Mr. Natsuki. I insist. Or maybe they're just gonna, like, refer to it passive. I don't know what to say, but thank you, and yes, Wonderful. Then I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. It's shit to go. He appears when you least expect it, Casey. Herlock's here, and he's invited us to live in his house. He's invited us to live in his attic. Somebody's happy. Welcome. I knew that you wouldn't let me down. I'm truly delighted to have met you here in London. Likewise, Mr. Natsume. It's been a privilege meeting you, too. It's a shame that we're going to have to say goodbye so soon. Well, I've come to realize that I belong in Japan. But welcome. We'll meet again one day. Yes, I'm sure. And hopefully by then, I'll be a successful lawyer. Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful author. Well, my dear fellow, our carriage appears to have arrived. Shall we go, Mr. Narad? Yes, Mr. Schultz. I've little doubt Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening. And so, with Soseke-san's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Sholmes to what was to become our new home. 221B Baker Street. Oh, baby! Bum, bum, bum. Get dinner scene. I guess this is more of an attic scene. 20th February, 4:41 p.m. The attic room. So this is pretty spacious. It's about as spacious as the ship cabin they were in. Like, it's to be our new office, yes. Our office. I rather like the sound of that. Me too. It's simply wonderful, isn't it? 4 cases in, we finally get settled into like a permanent location for our main characters to be in. Usually that happens like case 2 at least. I hope you can see this, Kazuma. It's only a small step. But I'd like to think we're getting a little closer to your dream now. So, my dear fellows, do you like the place? He definitely just like— Oh! His hair! What? He has like hot blonde anime boy hair. What the fuck? Ah, Mr. Schultz. Yes, thank you so much. What? Why is he just completed his hot anime boy transformation. Oh my god, this outfit. It's a delightful room, Mr. Sholmes. I simply adore it. Good. I'm pleased to hear it. Iris and I are delighted to welcome you. I hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. We'll eat as soon as Mr. Natsume arrives. We have a lot to celebrate. Iris, you must let me help you. All right then, Susie. You can be in charge of the salad. Splendid. So, Mr. Naruhodo, how does it feel? I cannot get over this hair. To have your own office in the capital. It's very exciting, actually. I can't help wondering what adventures await us. Dude, Herlock Sholmes, he's in love with us. He's the one that's in love with us. I can't help wondering what adventures await us. Those were precisely my sentiments when I first established my office at these premises. Until I discovered the dark truth about the city of London, that is. Sorry? London is a glorious place, full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth. But the brightest of lights cast the darkest of shadows. A game of shadows, you might even say. A Sherlock Holmes game of shadows. Shadows? What do you mean? Well, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind London's facade already. So, once again, Mr. Naruhodo. Ooh, the bow. Alright. Welcome to London. Of course, at the time, I had no idea the significance of those words Mr. Sholmes so casually spoke. But it wasn't long before my turn came to lift the facade and see the true depth of the murk that lay behind it. End of the case. The Adventure of the Clouded Kokoro. End. The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story. Oh. Fifth case. Final case. There was less of the fourth case left than I expected. We busted. I didn't expect a piece of the murder weapon to literally be in John Garrideb's pipe. That made things much easier. I thought we were gonna have to do a lot more pressing and presenting and reading through painful testimonies. If I had known it was this quick, maybe I would have done it before last night's chaos stream. But it's like very good. That was the worst case in this game so far, but it was still like A tier in the grand scheme of Ace Attorney cases. This game just sets such a high bar that any case slightly less than fantastic is a W. This was a W. We took a W this time. Getting to move in with Herlock Sholmes. I did not expect him to have blonde anime boy hair underneath the hat. Oh my god. The great Ace Attorney fandom must be absolutely horny for Herlock Sholmes constantly. And now there is an unspeakable story to be told. But perhaps we should speak it. Episode 5, The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story. But perhaps... Wait, The Hound of Baskervilles? Like that Sherlock Holmes story? What? That's like a very well-known... I mean, I haven't read it, but... The Hound of the Baskervilles. A hound it was, but not such a hound as any mortal has ever seen. Its eyes glowed with a smoldering glare. The whole of its ox-sized body was outlined in white-hot flames. Watch them say this entire text crawl as soon as I click on this case. Start playing from the start of this episode. Ooh. See, I want to, but also kind of want to save it for next time. Oh, man. I don't know. We've still got some people here. I think I'm going to have to. I think I'm going to have to start it. Maz Galam is now playing PUBG Battleground. I don't even know who that is. Who is Maz Galam? It's probably one of my friends' usernames. I own PUBG. Maybe I'll play that at some point. Maybe I'll play that right now. We switch over to PUBG. No, we're not. We're not gonna switch over to PUBG. But maybe. What time is it? It's 11. It's 11 something. It may be a little late to It may be a little late to switch to uh Yakuza, but I do want to get back to that game at some point. I think I actually am going to I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I want to play more or not. I think it might be good to stop here cuz this fifth case. It's the final case of the first game in this pack. It's going to be a big one. I think we need to we need to come back to this very soon. We'll be back soon with more Great Ace Attorney. The Hound of Baskerville. Basca, I don't know. We dealt with Joan Garrideb. That was what today's plan for the stream was. Next stream, we'll see what happens next. I feel like the next Great Ace Attorney stream is either going to be tomorrow or in like 2 weeks, because that seems to be what keeps happening. But anyway, I hope you have a nice night, Casey. Sorry this was a shorter stream, but next one promising some big. I'll message you next time. Next one's gonna be a big one. I hope y'all enjoyed the stream. I hope to see you next time. Arrivederci.